All right, this is page 299 in your math book. We are going to learn how to round decimals. This is rounding decimals, and I'm going to read what we have on top here. It says equivalent decimals. Equivalent decimals have different names, but their value is the same. Zeros placed to the right of the last digit in a decimal do not change the value. So they're showing that 4/10 equals the same as 40 hundredths equals the same as 400 thousandths. Why? Because if you remember, we learned that you can add as many zeros as you want behind a decimal after the last digit, and it won't change the place value. You can cover up those zeros, and you'll see that that is decimal 4, and decimal 4. So 4/10 equals 40 hundredths equals 400 thousandths. So you're going to be using this information to finish numbers 1 through 8. Numbers 1 through 8 says write if it's equal or if it's not equal. So you have to look. Does it have a bunch of decimals after the number? If it has a bunch of zeros after the number, if it has a bunch of zeros, then it's the same number. You can add as many zeros to the number as you want to, and it will not change the value of that decimal. Now, can you add as many zeros as you want in front of the decimal? No, you cannot. That will change the value. So let's look at number 1. We have 50 hundredths and 500 thousandths. This is going to be equal because if I take off all of the zeros after the number, I'm not sure if there's a glare, I can't see, then you'll see it is 0.5, 0.5. So this is going to be an equal sign. But let's look at number 2. We have 0.8 and 0.08. There's no zeros. You can add as many zeros as you want behind the number. It's not going to change the value. You can cross all those off. You cannot cross off zeros that are in front of the numbers. So this one says 8/10. This says 8 hundredths. This is not equal. That's how you're going to do numbers 1 through 8. So you essentially only have to do 2, 4, 6 more problems with that. Then let's look in here. Write the equivalent decimal in hundredths. So we need to remember our place value. When we have the decimal, then you have the tenths, then you have hundredths. So if this is your place value, once you have that decimal, you have tenths, then hundredths. So you want this to be in the hundredths place value. So how do you make that be hundredths? Right now it's only in the tenths. What do you have to add behind it? You have to add another 0 behind it to make it be in the hundredths place value. Look over here. Some of these you're going to have to take some things away. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do because I want you to think about it. Make it show a hundredths place value. That means 2 place values after the decimal. Right here, we're going to mark the number line on the location of the decimal, round the decimal to the nearest hundredths. So we're going to mark this. This is going to be 7.236. That is 7 and 236 thousandths. Where is that on my number line? Mark it, and then do you round up or do you round down on the number line to get to the nearest hundredths? So if we're looking at the hundredths, we're looking at the second decimal place, the second place value after the decimal. You have to look at the number that falls behind it and decide, are you going to round up or are you going to round down? Can you see any of that I just drew? Sorry guys, we're still learning with technology. Let me say that again. So if you're rounding to the nearest hundredth, after you've marked it on your number line, look at your decimal place value. Hundredths is going to be the second place value after the decimal, and you have to look at the number behind it. Is that number higher than 5? You round up. If it is 1 through 4, if it's less than 5, you're going to round back down. So that will help you check your answer after you've marked it on your number line to see if you need to round up to the nearest hundredth or round back down to the nearest hundredth. Do that for number 13 and 14. Then right here it says round the decimal to the nearest tenth. Tenth is going to be the first place value after your decimal. So in number 15, you're looking at the number 7. The number behind it is a 6. Sorry, my marker's kind of fat. It's hard to see my arrows. Is 6 5 or greater? If it is, you're going to round this up to the nearest tenth. If it is 4 or less, you're going to round down. So 6 is a high number, so that means 7 has to round up to 8. So this is going to be 2.8. 2 and 8/10. You're going to do that for numbers 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And that is all that we're going to do on this page. You only have to do 19 problems. I think it's enough information for us for the day. And then if you want to, for bonus, try to do numbers 20 through 24. This is going to be comparing greater than, less than, or equal to for number 20, 21, 22, and 23. And then try to do your word problem. I'm going to post all the answers so you can check your answers. So this down here is going to be your bonus. Can you see that? Bonus, B-O-N-U-S, bonus for numbers 20 through 24. Try to complete those and check your answers.